A group of criminals takes over a building and threatens to kill all the hostages inside. The police don't even try negotiating for long. They're waiting for Jade to arrive. The second he shows up, the situation is basically over. Jade activates his power and instantly appears inside the building. One criminal grabs a hostage and threatens to kill him if Jade takes another step. Jade just looks at him and asks which hostage he's talking about. The criminal looks down and realizes the hostage is already dead. Jade killed him himself. Before the guy can react, Jade smacks him across the face and literally erases half his head. The rest of the criminals try fighting back, but it's hopeless. Jade tears through the entire group like they're standing still. The rest are wiped out in seconds. Then Jade does something even worse. He points a gun at the surviving hostages and starts shooting them himself. People who were just rescued drop one after another, while Jade calmly blames everything on the criminals. The only person who knows what really happened is a girl watching from a nearby rooftop, and she isn't here to tell the truth. She's here to kill him. The story explains that heroes were originally meant to protect people. Over time, that changed. As long as the majority survived, nobody cared what happened to everyone else. Eventually, some heroes became no different from villains. The only difference was that society kept rewarding them. Ihwa decides that if nobody else is going to punish them, she will. She heads straight for one of Jade's private gatherings. The guards outside try stopping her and get folded almost immediately. Another gets tied up using her jacket. A third rushes her with a knife and gets dropped before he can even land a hit. After clearing her path, she head inside. Meanwhile, Jade was in VIP room. He's too busy talking about how most of the heroes he knew are already dead and how he's the only one left. Then he notices the uninvited guest standing in the room. The fight starts instantly. Jade launches forward with his lightning-like ability and throws a punch that should have ended the fight immediately. Ihwa blocks. Jade mocks her for interrupting him and finally notices something strange. His hand is full of forks and knives. Ihwa landed those hits during their first exchange. Now Jade is interested. He starts asking where she came from. Some villain organization? A rival group? Doesn't matter. He's convinced he'll kill her either way. The story flashes back to the moment everything changed for Ihwa. She was sitting beside her older sister's corpse. An old man in a wheelchair asked if she wanted revenge. Ihwa didn't hesitate. She would hunt down every hero necessary until she found the one who killed her sister. Back in the present, Jade stops holding back. And honestly, the fight becomes brutal. He shatters Ihwa's blade with 2 fingers, smashes her through tables. The gap between them is obvious. At one point, Ihwa grabs a fire extinguisher and slams it into him. Jade blocks it easily. Then the extinguisher explodes. The room fills with smoke and foam. Ihwa uses the distraction to land a kick, but Jade immediately appears behind her and launches her across the room again. He follows up with punch after punch, beating her into the floor while telling her she's nothing special. But before Jade could deliver the final blow, Ihwa clamped her hand around his wrist. In that split second, absolute terror paralyzed him. He didn't just feel outmatched, he felt like a man chained beneath a falling guillotine. Jade stumbles backward. Ihwa slowly gets back up. Her eyes are glowing red. Ihwa tells him she finally understands how his gift works. Ihwa used the same attack that he used on the criminal. Blood explodes everywhere. Now Jade is the one panicking. He screams, charges at her, and throws everything he has left into one final attack. Ihwa drops him with a single blow. His vision began to blur until the final lights of his consciousness went out. As Jade lies helpless on the floor, strange black hands start reaching toward him. Shadowy figures surround him, while voices seem to remind him of every life he's taken. Jade desperately tries to escape. But the moment his consciousness snapped back from the dream state, Ihwa was already gripping his face and slams it into the ground hard enough to crack the floor beneath him. Just like that, Jade is dead. The old man who trained her warned that there were heroes far stronger than Jade. Some of them would make her regret starting this path. Ihwa never cared. She already made her choice. She'll kill every corrupt hero standing between her and the truth. Later, investigators arrive to examine Jade's corpse. Most of them are already discussing who'll replace him. That's how little sympathy anyone has for him. Then, a hero named Chaos arrives. While sniffing the blood, he crawls over to Jade's corpse, grabs it by the hair, and starts talking to it like it's still alive. Then Chaos licked Jade's blood. A vision flashes through his mind. He sees Ihwa in his vision. Chaos gets excited. And now the hunt for Ihwa begins. Ihwa spends the next week training while the hero clan pretends Jade never existed. While working out, she watches a TV program praising the clan and its heroes. According to the broadcast, after defeating the villains centuries ago, the heroes slowly took control of the world. At this point, most heroes answer directly to the clan, and the entire system basically revolves around them. That only makes Jade's death even stranger. A whole week has passed, and nobody has mentioned it. No news coverage, no public statement. Nothing. Ihwa starts wondering if the clan is hiding the incident because they don't want to look weak, or if Jade was just another disposable asset. Either way, she doesn't care. Once more heroes start dropping, they'll have a lot harder time pretending nothing is happening. With that thought, she crosses Jade's picture off her target board. The wall is covered with hero profiles, photos, and notes. Jade was just the first name on a very long list. Later, Ihwa heads to her part-time job. Her boss is surprised to see her arrive early. She jokes that they probably won't get any customers anyway. Unfortunately, they do, and it's chaos. The guy is sitting there like he owns the place. Before the boss can head upstairs, Chaos casually points a gun at him. The second Ihwa sees it, she activates Jade's stolen gift and practically teleports across the room. One moment she's behind the counter. The next, she's holding a knife against Chaos's neck. Chaos doesn't panic. If anything, he looks interested. He immediately figures out that Ihwa can use Jade's gift, which means her ability isn't just killing heroes. She's taking their powers too. Even with a blade cutting into his neck, Chaos stays completely relaxed. He gave her an address and tells her to meet him there tomorrow. No clan, no backup, just the two of them. Then he gets up and leaves. The next day, Ihwa heads to the location. The place looks like it hasn't seen normal human activity in years. Perfect spot for an ambush, and that's exactly what it is. The second she arrives, her instincts start screaming. Someone is aiming at her. High above, Chaos realizes she found him and immediately pulls the trigger. The bullet comes flying toward her. Ihwa dodges and hide. She immediately starts calculating where the shots are coming from. Using a broken car mirror, she traces the bullet path and pinpoints Chaos's position. The guy is hiding nearly 2,000 yards away, basically trying to turn this into a sniper mission. Before she can get a better look, another shot destroys the mirror, so she reaches into her pocket and pulls out one of her steel beads. Then she channels Jade's gift into it. Ihwa launches the bead. The thing flies through the air like a damn railgun round. A second later, the concrete beam he's hiding behind explodes. Chaos barely gets out of the way. At that moment, he realizes something important. Ihwa is an absolute monster. Meanwhile, Ihwa is charging straight toward the building. Chaos actually starts smiling. The clan wanted him to stay away from this hunt. After seeing that attack, there is no chance he's listening. He starts searching for her again. Then he hears something. Chaos looks down. Ihwa is already inside the building. She somehow crossed the entire distance and climbed multiple floors before he could properly track her. The guy set up a sniper battle. Ihwa turned it into a close-range boss fight. Chaos quickly grabs a shotgun and fires. Ihwa smacks the barrel aside before the shot can hit her. He tries again. Same result. The shotgun blast goes harmlessly off course. Chaos instantly switches weapons and pulls out a handgun. Ihwa grabs it, rips the magazine out, and headbutts him right in the face. The hit sends Chaos stumbling backward. At this point, the fight has gone completely off the rails. Chaos wanted a hunt. Instead, he's getting speed blitzed on his own rooftop. Ihwa pulls out her knife, then charges straight at him. Something weird catches her attention. The concrete beam behind him suddenly starts moving, and a pair of hands emerge from it. She immediately attacks. The problem is, the person coming out doesn't bother defending himself. He charges straight at her. Ihwa throws multiple attacks his way, but every single one passes right through him. That's when she realizes what his gift does. The guy can phase through physical objects, at least most physical objects. Ihwa grabs his arm and quickly figures out that living beings are an exception. Before he can react, she throws him into the ground. The man flips himself upright and lands on his feet before taking off his hood. His name is Viper. Ihwa immediately looks at Chaos. The guy promised this meeting would be one-on-one. Chaos basically shrugs and pretends he never said that. Then he points out something even more interesting. Ihwa hasn't used Jade's gift once since Viper appeared. According to Chaos, it's not that she won't use it, it's that she can't. Now he's starting to figure things out. Ihwa ignores him and rushes Viper again, but Viper smoothly turns her attack into a grapple. While they're fighting, Chaos continues analyzing from the sidelines. He's trying to figure out the limits of her ability. Is there a cooldown, a usage limit, some hidden condition? Whatever the answer is, he's getting closer. Meanwhile, Viper proves he's much more dangerous than he looks. Viper lands a heavy hit and thinks he's got her cornered. Then Ihwa pulls the same trick he does and phases straight through the floor. Ihwa immediately gets back up and escapes outside. While watching her retreat, Chaos finally reaches a conclusion. He believes Ihwa needs physical contact to obtain another person's gift. Viper wants to continue the chase immediately. Chaos agrees. Although something about the situation is starting to bother him, he can't explain why, but he has a bad feeling about this hunt. Outside, Ihwa hides among the unfinished buildings and tries to catch her breath. She's already taken a lot of damage. Viper's gift is annoying enough on its own. Adding Chaos into the mix makes things even worse. So Ihwa comes up with a new plan. Forget Viper, kill Chaos first. Meanwhile, Viper hears a noise nearby and immediately rushes toward it. Too late. The sound was a distraction. Ihwa bursts out from hiding and goes straight for Chaos. Chaos quickly opens fire with his rifle, but Ihwa deflects every shot while closing the distance. Then she throws a knife. The blade hits before Chaos even realizes what's happening. Ihwa appears right behind it and goes for his neck. She's inches away from killing him. Then Viper arrives. A powerful kick slams into the side of her head and sends her crashing away. Before she can recover, Viper phases up through the ground beneath her and grabs her by the throat. He starts choking her, and this time, things are looking really bad. High above the battlefield, two people have been watching the entire fight. A girl questions whether saving Ihwa is really worth the trouble. Helping her means directly interfering with the hero clan. The man standing beside her disagrees. Strong allies are hard to find, and Ihwa is far too valuable to throw away. Back below, Viper is still holding her. Big mistake. She drives her thumb straight into his eye. Viper immediately releases her. Ihwa kicks off his body, but things somehow get even worse. Shotgun blasts start flying through Viper. Ihwa manages to avoid most of the attacks, but not all of them. The accumulated damage is starting to pile up. Then, Chaos pulls out a grenade. The explosion forces Ihwa to move, but the moment she lands, Viper is waiting for her. He kicks her and slams her straight into the ground. At this point, Ihwa is running on fumes. Even Viper admits she's dangerous. After seeing everything she can do, he finally understands how someone like Jade ended up dead. The scary part is that she's only going to get stronger, which is exactly why he decides she needs to die now. The fight is over. At least that's what he thinks. Then Viper notices something. Someone is standing behind him, a massive figure. Viper turns around and demands to know who he is. The answer comes in the form of a single attack. One hit. That's all it takes. Viper's head explodes. The giant man just one-shotted him. Ihwa collapses to the ground as her consciousness fades. Chaos watches everything from a distance. Even he knows the situation has completely changed. The girl looks at the battlefield, and she finally introduces herself and her group. They're not heroes. They're villains. After getting rescued from Chaos and Viper, Ihwa finally wakes up in a hospital bed. She overhears a doctor talking to himself. Apparently, her gunshot wounds have already healed. Since she's a gift user like everyone else, he decides a few nutritional supplements should be enough treatment. The doctor walks over carrying an entire stack of medicine while wearing a gas mask. Then he looks at the bed. Ihwa is gone. A second later, he realizes she's standing right behind him with a scalpel pressed against him. Most people would panic. This guy starts giving medical advice. He casually explains that if she's planning to stab someone, she should flatten the blade first. Otherwise, she'll probably hit the ribcage. Ihwa immediately demands answers. Who is he, and where is she? The doctor introduces himself as Vector. He explains that he's part of a group called the Nameless, a faction connected to the old war between the Hero Clan and the Villain Association. According to him, only one member of their group actually fought in that war. Vector also reminds Ihwa that she should be a little more grateful toward the doctor who saved her life. Before Ihwa can question him further, the door opens. A girl walks in carrying a basket of apples. This is Rachel Sinclair. Rachel tells Ihwa that Engin wants to meet her and asks her to come along. While walking through the hideout, Rachel casually jokes that one of the apples might be poisoned. Ihwa doesn't seem concerned at all. She simply says, poison doesn't affect her much. Rachel immediately asks what she does with the apple core. Ihwa answers that she eats it. For some reason, that answer completely amuses Rachel. Meanwhile, Ihwa is focused on something else. She's recovered enough strength to use gifts again. If she wants to escape, now would be the perfect opportunity. Vector doesn't look like much of a fighter. Taking him down should be easy. Rachel is the real problem. Ihwa still has no idea how strong she is. Before she can decide what to do, Rachel suddenly announces they've arrived. Ihwa expects some kind of secret headquarters. Instead, they walk into what looks like a restaurant. Apparently, this is the nameless hideout. Inside, several people are already waiting. The giant who one-shotted Viper introduces himself as John Nash. A scar-faced man nearby is Engin. He is also the group leader. Meanwhile, things aren't looking great over at the Hero Clan's 17th branch. The branch manager is furious after hearing about Viper's death. According to him, the higher-ups invested heavily in Viper because of his potential. Chaos doesn't bother making excuses. He simply says there was nothing he could do. The enemy was too strong. Then Chaos reveals who killed Viper, Engine. The reaction is immediate. The moment the branch manager hears that name, his entire attitude changes. He instantly recognizes the title, the Smiling Man, and that's a problem. A big one. The branch manager immediately starts leaving while Chaos asks where he's going. The answer is simple. The entire branch needs to be placed on high alert. If the Smiling Man has returned, every hero in the branch needs to be mobilized. Back at the nameless hideout, Engine suddenly asks a simple question. Who wants to do it? Rachel's hand shoots into the air before anyone else can react. She's clearly been waiting for this. The next second, Rachel pulls out her weapon and charges straight at Ihwa. No warning, no explanation. Just violence. The fight starts immediately. Rachel attacks like a complete maniac. Every swing comes from a different angle. The girl looks like she's having the time of her life. Ihwa finds an opening. She catches Rachel's attack, throws her backward, drives a kick into her stomach, follows it with a knee to the face, and slams her into a wall. The whole exchange ends so quickly Rachel never gets a chance to recover. When Ihwa prepares another attack, she suddenly stops. Rachel is smiling. Instead of being angry about losing, Rachel happily admits defeat and even offers her hand. The girl is somehow crazier than Chaos. Watching from the side, Vector quietly realizes Ihwa isn't exactly normal either. Before things can escalate any further, he steps in and ends the impromptu hazing session. With the introductions finally out of the way, Ihwa gets straight to the point. Why did the Nameless save her? What are they trying to accomplish? Engin finally answers. The Nameless exist for one purpose: to destroy the Hero Clan. The same Hero Clan responsible for her sister's death. The moment Engin mentions her sister, Ihwa immediately becomes hostile. She begins preparing Jade's gift while demanding to know how he knows about her sister. A flashback explaining why Engin agreed to save Ihwa in the first place. Some time ago, Engin met with the old man who trained Ihwa, the same man who found her after her sister's death and taught her everything she knows. The old man admits he didn't call Engin over for a friendly chat. He needs a favor. Engin is curious, but before the conversation can continue, the old man activates his gift and immediately puts pressure on him. Even after retirement, the guy is still dangerous. Engin can tell right away that the old man hasn't lost his edge, so he sits down and listens. The old man starts talking about Ihwa, or more specifically, the future hero killer. According to him, Ihwa is going to become incredibly important one day. The problem is that she's still too weak. If she runs into opponents far stronger than herself right now, she'll die before reaching her full potential. Engin quickly figures out where this is going. The old man wants him to protect his tiger cub. Then the conversation takes an interesting turn. The old man reminds Engin of his ultimate goal: destroying the Hero Clan. The problem is that there's one person neither heroes nor villains can ignore. A woman so dangerous that even after eliminating the Hero Clan, she could still ruin everything. Engin immediately understands who he's talking about. Then he asks the obvious question: can Ihwa eventually reach that level? The old man isn't completely sure, but he thinks it's possible. That answer is enough for Engin. He agrees to watch over her. Before leaving, Old Man warned that if anyone should be worried, it isn't Ihwa, it's the people who end up standing in her way. The story then returns to the present. Ihwa is still demanding answers from the Nameless. She wants to know how they learned about her sister. Before Engine can answer, John Nash suddenly loses patience and throws a punch at her. The scary part is how fast it is. Even Ihwa is surprised. For a second, it looks like she's about to get flattened. Then, black shadow restraints suddenly wrap around John and stop him mid-attack. Engine wasn't interested in letting the conversation turn into another fight. Watching everything unfold, Ihwa starts wondering how this group functions at all. Rachel acts like a Temu Harley Quinn. Vector talks to himself more than anyone else. John solves every problem with violence. And somehow, Engin is keeping all of them together. John warns Ihwa that he won't go easy on her next time. Vector immediately jumps in before another fight breaks out, while Rachel is perfectly happy to watch the chaos. At this point, Ihwa realizes she's probably not getting answers directly. So instead of arguing, she focuses on what really matters. The Nameless saved her for a reason. Nobody risks fighting the hero clan out of kindness. They need something, and she needs information, which means both sides have leverage. So Ihwa decides to take control of the negotiation herself. She tells Engine she already understands the situation. They're willing to provide information. In exchange, they want her strength. Engine immediately confirms she's right. Ihwa accepts the deal. Then she asks the important question. What exactly are they planning? That's when Vector casually reveals the answer. The Nameless intend to destroy the hero clan's 17th branch. Ihwa looks around the room. There are only 4 of them. Engin, Rachel, Vector, John Nash. The plan sounds completely insane. Then Engin reminds her of something. If she joins them, that makes 5. The chapter then shifts over to the hero clan's side. A blue-haired assistant is going over a packed schedule for one of the clan's biggest stars. Every minute of the next 2 weeks is booked. Villain suppression missions, public appearances, media events. The usual hero celebrity lifestyle. The person listening to all this is Victoria, the poster child of the hero clan. And unlike most heroes we've seen so far, Victoria immediately feels different. Then, a loud rumble interrupts the meeting. A massive group of villains is charging toward them in vehicles that look straight out of Mad Max. The villains spot Victoria standing in the distance. Their leader doesn't even care who she is. He just tells everyone to run her over. Huge mistake. Victoria, who is watching from afar, looks at the approaching army and starts getting excited. To her, it looks beautiful. She activates her gift. Dark clouds begin forming overhead. Lightning crashes down from the sky, and a gigantic sword drops into her hands. Before attacking, Victoria asks if there are any cameras or reporters nearby. The answer is no, which means she doesn't need to hold back. The next second, she swings. One swing. That's it. Every vehicle gets sliced apart instantly. The mountain behind them gets cut too. The entire enemy force is deleted in a single attack. It honestly looks less like a battle and more like somebody accidentally used an endgame ultimate on a bunch of low-level mobs. After wiping out the entire group, Victoria casually talks about grabbing a drink later. And where does she want to go? The hero clan's 17th branch. The exact place the Nameless are planning to destroy. After Ihwa leaves the Nameless hideout, the group immediately starts talking about her. John Nash isn't convinced letting her walk away was a good idea. Rachel completely disagrees. Not only does she like Ihwa, she admits she intentionally held back during their fight. According to Rachel, if she had used her gift, somebody probably would have died. And despite Rachel's usual chaotic energy, she genuinely seems interested in Ihwa. Vector isn't nearly as convinced. While everyone else was watching the fight, he was paying attention to something else. Ihwa's heartbeat. According to him, it never changed. Not when she woke up, not when she threatened him with a scalpel, not when she fought Rachel, not even when she left. Every reaction looked genuine, but her heartbeat stayed completely stable. Which means she was calculating every move the entire time. The scary part is that even her anger might have been an act. Rachel is surprised by that. Vector then points out that Ihwa is basically the complete opposite of Engin. Engin always looks calm on the outside, but internally he's a complete mess. Before that conversation can continue, Engin shuts everyone up. He's already made his decision. Ihwa will be joining the assault on the hero clan's 17th branch. Rachel immediately gets excited. John doesn't. Engine then turns toward him and gives a direct warning. If John attacks without permission again, Engine will kill him himself. That ends the discussion real fast. Meanwhile, Ihwa is back home. Instead of relaxing, she's training. The fight against Viper and Chaos showed her how big the gap still is. Viper was strong, but Engin is on a completely different level. And if someone like Engin exists, there are probably heroes even stronger than him. The thought bothers her. Can she actually reach that level one day? To find out, she starts testing Jade's gift. A timer runs beside her while she repeatedly activates the ability. Eventually, she collapses onto the floor. Current limit: 7 minutes and 37 seconds. It's better than yesterday. Still not enough. While lying there exhausted, she remembers the final words her sister gave her. Survive. That's all she asked. The memory immediately pulls Ihwa back to her feet. This is only the beginning. Every gift she steals makes her stronger. Every hero she kills pushes her further. And if reaching the truth means climbing over every hero standing in her way, then that's exactly what she'll do. Later, Ihwa heads back to her part-time job. Things are surprisingly normal. Her boss is handling some cleaning before eventually handing her the broom. Then he notices something is bothering her. At first, Ihwa avoids the question. But after thinking about what happened with Chaos, she finally reaches a decision. If she hadn't stopped him that day, her boss would have died. And now that the hero clan knows who she is, staying here would only put innocent people in danger. So Ihwa tells him she's quitting. Her boss doesn't try to stop her. Instead, he simply accepts it. Then he tells her she's welcome to come back anytime. The place barely gets customers anyway. He'd even save a spot for her. Of course, he'd still charge her if she showed up as a customer. Some things never change. The conversation ends on a surprisingly warm note. Her boss looks at Ihwa and asks, "Is that one of your friends?" Chaos' face is pressed right against the glass window like a complete weirdo. The guy is literally standing outside staring into the shop. The moment Ihwa spots him creeping outside her workplace, she immediately shoves her boss out of the way and rushes toward the window. After everything this guy has pulled, she's not letting him escape again, punching him through the glass, dragging him to the ground, and finally putting a blade through his neck. Then reality kicks back in. Chaos is standing there completely unarmed. So instead of starting another fight, Ihwa tells her boss she'll be back in a minute and heads outside. A few moments later, the two are sitting near a vending machine. Chaos even buys her a drink. Honestly, this might be the weirdest interaction they've had so far. Chaos admits he didn't expect her to actually come outside. Ihwa keeps an eye on the cafe while Chaos assures her he isn't planning anything. According to him, he was just messing around before, and this time he didn't even bring a weapon. The problem is that makes him even harder to understand. Ihwa can't figure out what he actually wants. Revenge for Viper? Probably not. An ambush? Doesn't seem like it. So she gets straight to the point and asks. Chaos immediately tells her what he came for. He wants Ihwa to become his sidekick. The response he gets is exactly what you'd expect. Ihwa looks at him like he just suffered a critical system error. Chaos starts laughing while she demands to know if he's serious. The crazy part is that he is. The chapter then shifts away from the conversation and gives some background on gifts. People born with gifts can wield abilities far beyond normal humans. Some can control fire. Others can transform their bodies. On top of that, gift users possess incredible vitality and can live much longer than ordinary people. Ironically, very few of them actually die of old age. Most die long before then. The narration comes from a woman named Yuna. She's currently examining Viper's corpse. Unlike most people, Yuna doesn't seem particularly disturbed by the situation. She casually comments that blowing someone's head off tends to ruin their appearance. According to her, Viper always looked gloomy, but he actually had a surprisingly bright personality. Meanwhile, Chaos is sitting right on top of Viper's morgue bed like the world's worst funeral guest. Yuna asks how his meeting with Ihwa went. Chaos admits she rejected his offer immediately. Honestly, nobody is surprised. Yuna quickly figures out that Ihwa has probably already met the Nameless. Even then, Chaos doesn't seem disappointed. In fact, he looks strangely optimistic. That's because while Ihwa rejected becoming his sidekick, she apparently agreed to do him a small favor in the future. Yuna immediately asks what the favor is. Chaos refuses to tell her. Instead, he grabs Viper's gloves. Apparently, that's what he actually came for. Before leaving, Chaos gives Yuna a warning. Something feels wrong. The entire 17th branch is heading toward trouble. Back outside, Chaos can't stop thinking about Ihwa. Every time they meet, she's stronger than before. Right now, the Hero Clan's top executives probably don't see her as a threat. But Chaos understands something they don't. A small spark can eventually become a wildfire. And Ihwa is growing at a terrifying pace. The real question isn't whether she's dangerous, it's what kind of monster she'll become in the future. Meanwhile, Ihwa is preparing for her next move. She gathers her weapons, checks her equipment, and gets ready for the operation against the Hero Clan's 17th branch. Then her phone suddenly lights up. A message has arrived. The sender is obvious. The message is short. Are you ready? Let's kill them all. While the rest of the Nameless prepare their own roles, Ihwa starts the operation alone. She moves across the rooftops surrounding the division and uses a grappling device to cross the gaps between buildings. A few moments later, she's already overlooking one of the guard towers protecting the area. Two security guards are chatting when one of them suddenly hears footsteps. He immediately raises his rifle and starts looking around. Nothing. At least, that's what he thinks. Because Ihwa is already behind him. The first guard gets dropped before he can react. The second tries to bring his weapon up, but Ihwa grabs the gun and crushes it with her bare hands. Then she drives a punch straight into his stomach. The guy folds instantly. Ihwa tells him she'll spare his life if he stays quiet. She orders him to hand over his walkie-talkie. The guard immediately obeys. The second he does, Ihwa destroys the radio and knocks him out with a punch strong enough to crack the concrete beneath him. With the guards neutralized, the operation is officially underway. The chapter then flashes back to the planning session before the attack. When Ihwa asked for the infiltration plan, Rachel basically summarized the entire strategy as boom, followed by kaboom. Not exactly military-grade planning. Vector wasn't much better. His solution was to walk in and put everyone to sleep. John Nash's plan was even simpler. Kill everybody. At that moment, Ihwa realized she was surrounded by idiots. Thankfully, Ingen was the only one actually thinking ahead. According to him, their first objective should be eliminating the area guards. These are the Hero Clan security forces responsible for maintaining order. Unlike actual heroes, they don't possess gifts, but they're still important because they handle communication and security. Rachel immediately points out that they're weak. Engine agrees. But weak people can still create problems. If the guards disappear, the Hero Clan will be forced to redirect resources and attention. That distraction is exactly what the Nameless need. Then Vector mentions another complication. The head of security for the 17th branch is a retired hero. If he gets involved, things could become messy. Engin's response is simple. Then they'll eliminate him too. Rachel immediately volunteers. But before she can claim the mission, Ihwa cuts in. She wants the job. Partly because she doesn't trust the Nameless. And partly because she knows they don't fully trust her either. Completing the mission would prove her value. Engin accepts the proposal. Then he asks what she wants in return. Ihwa doesn't hesitate. She wants Engin's gift. The request catches everyone's attention immediately. Then the story jumps back to the present. Ihwa continues moving through the 17th branch and takes down every guard she encounters. The operation is going surprisingly smoothly, almost too smoothly. Inside the division's surveillance room, a man monitors security footage from across the facility. He starts putting the pieces together. The intruders have already penetrated deep into the compound, which means the guards outside have probably been defeated. Then the door behind him opens. Ihwa is already standing inside the room. Without missing a beat, she answers the question he was just asking himself. She doesn't know whether every guard is dead, but she does know one thing. He's next. Ihwa finally comes face to face with the head of security. Grayman. The guy doesn't seem surprised at all. He's already heard reports about someone tearing through the lower levels, so the moment he sees Ihwa, he puts the pieces together. Then he asks the question everyone's been asking. Is she the one who killed Jade and Viper? Ihwa doesn't bother giving a real answer, and honestly, that's all Grayman needs. The next second, he hurls his axe straight at her. Ihwa catches it mid-air and immediately throws it back. Grayman casually dodges it. At that point, the fight officially begins. Ihwa tells him to stop holding back and come at her with everything he's got. Grayman accepts the invitation. The guy launches himself forward with enough force to crack the floor beneath him and throws a punch powerful enough to flatten most opponents. Ihwa dodges and immediately counters. Her punch lands. Nothing. It's like she hit a wall. She follows up with a kick. Grayman catches her leg and throws her across the room like she's weightless. Ihwa crashes through a metal wall but recovers instantly. When she looks up, Grayman is already in front of her. Another punch comes flying toward her. This time, Ihwa catches his arm and wraps herself around it, using his own momentum to drag both of them to the ground. Grayman breaks free almost immediately. The second he does, Ihwa kicks him away and creates some distance. Now both fighters are starting to get serious. Grayman wipes blood from his nose and starts evaluating his opponent. Meanwhile, Ihwa uses the environment itself as a weapon. She kicks the floor hard enough to send chunks of concrete flying toward him. While dealing with the attack, Grayman starts analyzing her. The guy quickly realizes she's far more dangerous than the report suggested. Her fighting style is unconventional, her reactions are incredible, and her combat instincts are absurd. Everything she does flows naturally. It's obvious she spent years training, not just learning techniques, suffering through them. Whoever trained her basically forged a weapon. Still, Grayman believes she's beatable. He decides he'll break her down piece by piece until she finally reveals who she really is. The funny part is that Ihwa is thinking the exact opposite. From her perspective, Grayman still doesn't understand what's happening. He's treating her like an opponent he can slowly wear down. Meanwhile, she's already planning to steal his gift. To Ihwa, Grayman isn't the final boss. He's another step on the staircase, a stepping stone. And the stronger he is, the more useful he'll become. The fight immediately speeds up. Ihwa closes the distance and lands a clean punch to Grayman's face. This time, he feels it. Before he can recover, she follows with a kick. Grayman avoids the obvious strike. Unfortunately for him, that's exactly what Ihwa expected. She changes the angle mid-movement and drives the attack into his ribs instead. Then comes another punch, then another. The combo keeps building. At this point, Grayman is getting pushed back. Ihwa is reading him faster and faster. In her head, she's already preparing to rip that mask right off his face. Then she lands a massive hit that launches him straight into a wall. For a moment, Ihwa wonders if that was enough. It wasn't. Grayman slowly stands back up. And now, he's angry. A massive slash tears through the room and splits the surroundings apart like the entire area was cut by an invisible blade. That's when Grayman activates his gift. One of his arms transforms into a giant sword. Suddenly, the fight feels completely different. Before, this was a battle. Now it feels like Ihwa accidentally triggered phase 2 of the boss fight. Ihwa looks around and spots a weapon lying nearby. She picks it up and points it toward him. Then she gives him the only answer he needs. Go ahead, try me. This is how gifts actually work. Just like the human body needs food and energy, gift users rely on a resource called EST. Think of it like a mana bar. Every gift consumes EST, but not all gifts are equal. Some abilities barely consume any energy, while others burn through it incredibly fast. A strong gift isn't always better if it drains the user dry after a few seconds. Ihwa is the perfect example. She can use Jade's gift for several minutes at a time. Viper's gift is a completely different story. She can only keep that one active for a few seconds before her EST starts disappearing. And if a gift user completely runs out of EST, things can get very bad. In some cases, it can even be fatal. With that explanation out of the way, the fight against Grayman continues. At this point, Ihwa has already figured something out. Grayman's transformed blade arm is by far the biggest threat on the battlefield. So instead of trying to overpower him directly, she focuses on avoiding the attacks that actually matter. This time, Ihwa deliberately takes a hit. Not because she couldn't avoid it, because she saw an opening. The moment Grayman commits, she counters. A hit lands, then another. Then she channels her gift through her weapon and slams it into Grayman's head. Critical hit. Even Grayman is surprised. He blocks another attack with his blade arm, but something keeps bothering him. Something about this fight feels wrong. Then Ihwa lands another clean hit to his face. Ihwa suddenly hooks her weapon into his collar and yanks him down to the ground. While he's trying to understand what's happening, she drives a blade through his hand. Now, Grayman is genuinely frustrated. He starts talking about how she was always hiding her true strength. Ihwa immediately shuts him down. According to her, she was always stronger than him. That statement completely pisses him off. Grayman rips the blade free and finally stops holding back. The next second, blades start erupting all over his body. His shoulders, his chest, everywhere. The guy basically turns himself into a human porcupine made of swords. At this point, Phase 2 of the boss fight has officially started. While dodging the storm of blades, Ihwa finally reveals why she's been enjoying this fight so much. Jade was too weak. Engine is way too strong. Grayman sits right in the middle. For the first time in a while, she's found a perfect sparring partner. Someone strong enough to push her without completely overwhelming her. And, honestly, Grayman hates hearing that. Then she ends the fight. One attack. Straight through his chest. Grayman freezes. The battle is over. The head of security of the 17th branch has lost. Even then, Grayman refuses to accept it. He starts ranting about the hero clan and demands to know why she's doing this. Duty. Revenge. Whatever her reason is, he warns her that she's only heading toward a worse fate. Ihwa doesn't argue. She grabs him by the throat and drags him toward a broken window. Then she gives him a simple answer. Maybe her future is terrible, but when she dies someday, Grayman won't even exist anymore. At that point, Grayman finally realizes what's about to happen. He starts begging. For the first time all fight, the guy is terrified. Ihwa tells him to open his eyes, because he's about to die. Then she lets go. Grayman falls. A few moments later, the head of security of the 17th branch hits the ground below. Just like that, he's gone. And with physical contact already established, Ihwa gains another gift. Grayman's ability. With the fight finished, Ihwa immediately moves deeper into the operation. She starts crossing the rooftops again, heading toward the next objective. Then she notices someone below. A woman casually walking through an alley. At first, it doesn't seem important. Then the woman looks up, their eyes meet, and Ihwa instantly recognizes her. Victoria. Victoria proved exactly why she's considered one of the strongest people in the world. The moment she notices Ihwa, she doesn't attack from a distance. She just appears right next to her. No warning, no buildup. 1 second she's down in the alley. The next, she's floating beside Ihwa in midair. Then she casually says hello and flicks her finger. That's it. Just a flick. Ihwa gets launched across the city like she was hit by a truck. She crashes through part of a building and keeps flying before finally managing to stop herself. The scary part. That wasn't even a serious attack. As Ihwa gets back up, she remembers what happened. She actually blocked Victoria's finger with her arm, and she still ended up taking that much damage. That's when Victoria starts taking a closer look at her. She smells blood, a lot of blood, and immediately wants to know who Ihwa killed. Ihwa refuses to answer. Victoria doesn't seem bothered by that. In fact, she looks more interested. She even compliments Ihwa's voice before casually saying it makes her want to tear her apart. Among all gift users, there are 9 individuals who possess the strongest gifts in existence. They're so powerful that normal hero clan rules barely apply to them. And Victoria is one of them. The terrifying part is that Victoria existed long before the modern age of heroes and villains. She's basically a living raid boss that never logged out. Objectively speaking, Ihwa knows she can't win. Not right now, not even close. But she doesn't need to win, she only needs one opening. So she activates Jade's gift and attacks. Victoria catches her fist with one hand. Effortlessly. Ihwa is genuinely shocked. The gap between them is absurd. Victoria asks what exactly Ihwa thinks she's doing. Then she starts punching her, again and again. Each hit leaves Ihwa staggering. Blood starts pouring from her injuries. Meanwhile, Victoria keeps talking the entire time. Apparently, she doesn't like Ihwa. Her outfit clashes with Victoria's suit. And for some reason, that's a serious offense. Eventually, Victoria notices Ihwa has stopped responding. She asks if she's playing dead. Then she hears Ihwa mumbling something. The story briefly flashes back to an earlier conversation with Engine. Before the mission, Ihwa asked about stealing his gift. Engine warned her that his ability wasn't something she could casually handle, especially at her current level, and he specifically told her to be careful at night. Back in the present, Ihwa finally makes her move. She taps Victoria's shoulder, then activates Engin's gift. A massive shadow storm erupts around them. Darkness explodes across the area and completely blocks Victoria's vision. For the first time since the fight started, Victoria loses sight of her target. By the time the shadows disappear, Ihwa is gone. Victoria looks around for a moment, then she quietly says that Ihwa reminded her of someone. Meanwhile, back at the nameless hideout, Vector is dealing with a familiar problem. Ihwa has returned looking completely destroyed. Again. Rachel isn't even surprised anymore. She assumes the head of security must have been stronger than expected. A few moments later, Ihwa wakes up. Rachel immediately asks if she recognizes the feeling. Ihwa's answer comes without hesitation. Food. She needs food. Immediately. What follows is basically a Luffy-level eating session. Ihwa starts devouring everything in sight while Vector watches in disbelief. Then he notices something. Her arm is completely swollen. It should be broken. When he points it out, Ihwa casually says it'll probably heal after a nap. Vector nearly loses his mind. At this point, he's starting to question every medical rule he knows. Once things settle down, he asks if the preparations are complete. Rachel explains that one final step remains. According to Engin's plan, the heroes of the 17th branch are gradually gathering in one location. Once they're all assembled, the Nameless intend to blow up the entire building. There's just one problem. Where exactly do you get enough explosives to destroy a hero clan division? That's when Engin walks in, completely unconcerned. According to him, he knows a guy. The chapter then cuts to that guy, a delivery worker staring at an absurd order. Someone apparently purchased a ridiculous amount of Mountain Dew. Confused but curious, he follows the delivery address. Eventually, he arrives at what looks like an ordinary building. He rings the bell. The door opens. Rachel is standing there. Behind her, the rest of the Nameless. The delivery guy immediately realizes something is wrong, very wrong. He drops the package on the ground, apologizes, and tries to run for his life. Unfortunately for him, every member of the Nameless starts chasing after him. The problem is, this guy isn't some random courier. The moment things get dangerous, he jumps onto the roof of a warehouse and starts creating distance from everyone. Ihwa immediately attacks first. She launches one of her steel beads toward him. The delivery guy dodges. She throws another. This one forces him off balance and sends him crashing into the warehouse below. Most people would have been caught there. Not this guy. The second he lands, he's already sprinting away. Unfortunately for him, John Nash is waiting ahead. The giant charges straight at him like a freight train with anger issues. Just before John can grab him, the delivery guy slips away and flips a coin. Then he vanishes. John's attack hits nothing. A second later, the guy reappears on the roof above them. Now, he's getting annoyed. John immediately jumps through the roof and lands in front of him. At the same time, Ihwa cuts off his escape from behind. Now, he's trapped, at least until he starts talking. The delivery guy claims they can't catch him because he's too fast. Ihwa immediately calls him out. According to her, if he were really that fast, he would have escaped already. Instead, she figures out the truth. His gift isn't super speed, it's invisibility. Every time he flips a coin and catches it, he turns invisible. The moment Ihwa says it out loud, the guy starts sweating. Bullseye. She figured it out almost instantly. The downside is obvious too. If he fails to catch the coin, he temporarily loses access to the ability. Knowing he's been exposed, the delivery guy throws a handful of coins into the air. His plan is to confuse everyone. Unfortunately, Ihwa reads the move immediately. Before he can grab the correct coin, she kicks him square in the face, then casually compliments the gift while asking if that's all he's got. The guy insists it isn't. Then he flips another coin. This time, he's not trying to fight. He's trying to escape. The moment everyone's attention shifts to the coin, he uses it as a distraction and leaps onto a nearby rooftop. A few seconds later, he's already running. While escaping, he silently says goodbye to all the money he just threw away. Then, he suddenly stops. Rachel is standing right in front of him. Rachel immediately activates her gift. Vines erupt and shoot toward him. He dodges the first attack. The vines change direction. Then they stab him from behind. The next thing he knows, he's trapped inside a bizarre garden made entirely of Rachel's vines. Some of them even resemble human figures. Rachel casually explains that there are only two ways out. Wait until she lets him leave, or kill her. Neither option sounds great. The delivery guy finally decides cooperation is the healthier choice. The story then explains who he actually works for. Chain Logistics. On the surface, it's just a distribution company. In reality, rumors say they'll deliver absolutely anything for the right price. The company has become one of the largest businesses around, but almost nobody knows who actually runs it. That's exactly why Engine wanted to meet them. Back in the present, the delivery guy leads the Nameless to a heavily secured location. After giving the correct password, they gain entry. A guard recognizes him immediately and opens the door. Then John Nash walks through. The poor guard immediately realizes his day is ruined. As they move deeper inside, Rachel asks the delivery guy if he's leading them into a trap. The guy quickly assures her that he isn't. Honestly, after seeing what happened to everyone else, he's not eager to test Rachel's patience. Eventually, they arrive before a large group of armed men. At the center sits the man apparently running the operation. The delivery guy introduces the Nameless. The moment he does, he secretly tugs on his collar. Hidden inside is a dead shark, a signal. The boss immediately understands. Without hesitation, he orders everyone to kill the intruders. Bad decision. The instant the attack starts, Engine activates his gift. Shadows explode across the room. One after another, the armed men are overwhelmed. Within seconds, Shadow Blade stops just short of someone's throat. The boss. The entire room freezes. Engine then gets straight to business. He's looking for a bomb. Not just any bomb, one powerful enough to flatten the entire 17th branch. But before negotiations can begin, Engine realizes something. The man in front of him isn't actually Chain's boss. Then a voice echoes from a dark room nearby. Then he steps forward. The real Chain finally making an appearance. The fake boss immediately throws himself at Chain's feet and begs for help. Chain's response, he kicks the guy away. Then he turns toward Engine and immediately starts panicking. The reaction tells Ihwa everything she needs to know. This isn't some fearless crime lord running a massive underground organization. This guy is terrified of Engine. Honestly, he isn't what Ihwa expected at all. While she's trying to figure out what kind of relationship these two have, Rachel suddenly appears beside her and asks what she's thinking about. Ihwa brushes it off. Meanwhile, the negotiations continue. It's revealed that Engine once saved Chain's life during the war, which explains why Chain can't simply throw the Nameless out. The problem is that after hearing the actual plan, Chain wants absolutely nothing to do with it. Destroying the Hero Clan's 17th branch sounds less like a mission and more like a suicide note. Engine isn't asking for soldiers though. He only wants explosives. Chain keeps complaining about how long it took him to build his company from the ground up. There's no way he wants to throw everything away by going to war against the Hero Clan. At this point, Ihwa gets tired of listening. She cuts straight through the discussion. If they're going to do this, then do it. If not, stop wasting time. Chain finally notices her and asks who she is, then immediately tells her to stay out of it because the adults are talking. Engine introduces her as Hero Killer, the Nameless's wild card, and casually mentions that she's already killed Jade and Viper. The moment Chain hears that, the confidence disappears from his face, fast. Then Ihwa tells him to stop stalling and hand over the explosives. At that point, the poor guy looks like he's one bad sentence away from a heart attack. Later, the delivery guy asks Chain if helping them was really the right move. Chain immediately shuts him down. According to him, refusing wasn't an option. If he had said no, Engine would have killed everyone there, simple as that. The delivery guy then points out another problem. The amount of explosives Chain provided isn't enough to completely destroy the 17th branch. Chain admits that's intentional. This is insurance. His plan is actually pretty smart. If the bombs go off, the Hero Clan will investigate. But because the amount is limited, most of the heroes should survive. Afterward, Chain can simply claim he was forced to cooperate with terrorists. From his perspective, the Nameless succeeding is basically impossible anyway. The Hero Clan is far too powerful. Still, the delivery guy reminds him of something. Before leaving, Engin sounded incredibly confident. Confident enough that even Chain couldn't completely dismiss the possibility. And honestly, that thought terrifies him. Elsewhere, Yuna Song visits Chaos. The guy is in rough shape. His body is covered in wounds and slash marks from previous battles. Yuna immediately notices how bad it's gotten. She tells him there's still time to retire. Chaos doesn't even consider the idea. Not today. Yuna explains that she can increase his medication, but it's only a temporary solution. His body isn't recovering the way it used to. Years of fighting are finally catching up to him. Chaos doesn't care. He only wants to see how this war ends. Yuna points out that the war already ended years ago. Chaos disagrees. To him, the war never ended. Not once. Then he notices something outside. Looks like the new recruits have arrived. The story shifts to three heroes approaching the 17th branch: Sharpshooter, Claymore, and Stonefist. Stonefist wonders where the welcoming committee is. Sharpshooter explains that the branch manager sent everyone away after hearing that villains might try infiltrating the division. Apparently Jade, Viper, and Grayman are all dead. Claymore comments that it's a shame about Viper. Stonefist agrees. The guy had talent. Claymore clarifies that he wasn't talking about Viper's talent, which says a lot about how he viewed him. A few moments later, the branch manager finally arrives. And unlike everyone else, he knows exactly how bad the situation has become. Meanwhile, the final piece of Engin's plan is already moving into position. A truck slowly enters the 17th branch. Behind the wheel is the delivery guy from Chain Logistics. He's confused by how little security is left around the base, but decides not to question it. After all, he's just making a delivery. At least, that's what everyone thinks. Because hidden inside the truck is enough explosive material to turn the entire operation upside down,